Charlie Kirk has left a big void in the young conservative movement. As of September 11th, he is now officially passed away, and that leaves a void for another person, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's been banned from every platform, but Nick Fuentes also has a group of people called the Groypers, and the Groypers are basically way on the alt-right, so they're not even like Republicans. They're way more radical than that. And this is why this is interesting. Nick Fuentes is now being blamed for being the reason why Charlie Kirk passed away or got killed. You can see Nick Fuentes is now scared. He wrote, "Well, my followers and I are currently being framed for the murder of Charlie Kirk by the mainstream media based on literally zero evidence. After the left gunned him down, they celebrated and justified it. They said I was next. Now they're blaming me. These people are pure evil." Now, as you can see, What is a Groyper has 100,000 searches on X. And it is true that Nick Fuentes was going to get assassinated. Somebody knocked on his door, they doxed his address, and the person that knocked on his door had killed 2 people right before, and then the police ended up killing him sometime afterwards. So yes, Nick Fuentes' life is definitely in danger. That is no doubt about it. But the question is Nick Fuentes responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk? The first point of contention is the fact that Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes were both white supremacists, at least according to Nick Fuentes. But there was one problem.
Charlie Kirk, as we know, has become a white supremacist, and that's a huge victory. But he remains a he remains a and that no, I don't use language like that, you know. But he isn't like Charlie Kirk has become white nationalist, hardcore, but he remains a shill to, and I've said that for a long time.
So basically what Nick Fuentes thought was that Charlie Kirk was sort of becoming more radical as time went on, and finally he was a white supremacist. But there's only one problem. He basically loved the Jews, all right? And this is an issue with a lot of the people on the right. And, you know, guys like Nick Fuentes are not even Republican or Democrat. They're so far on the right that it's geopolitical. As we know that Charlie Kirk was kind of accused of playing both sides. And because he was so popular with Turning Point USA, going to college campuses, getting so much access, getting so much notoriety, it almost appeared that Charlie Kirk was not only getting young people to become conservative, but also supporters of Israel. This became a problem with Nick Fuentes.
There, Charlie Kirk saying, "Oh, I'll hear you out, but I'll basically do propaganda on their behalf." It's not good enough. You got to go, dude. You got to go.
So that part, now that is very interesting, right? Like, you gotta go. What does that mean? But wait, gets more.
All right, everybody raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Now this one, he's telling his followers to all pledge allegiance to him, that you will delete, grape, or even pass away for Nick Fuentes. Seems like a joke, right? No, let's continue, all right? So now, as we know, Tyler Robinson was a student at Utah State University and drove all the way up to Utah Valley State University. Now, and this is where he killed Charlie Kirk. But also understand that Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, they didn't like Charlie Kirk. There was a lot of animosity between the two. And not only between Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk, but also between Nick Fuentes, Republicans, and Donald Trump.
Someone like Charlie Kirk. And it just goes to show, by the way, Charlie Kirk, who a week ago said, "I'm doing a focus group. I'm open to a contrary opinion on Israel and Palestine." He's now doing damage control on their behalf. And one has to wonder, is he being paid by Israel?
Without a doubt, the answer is yes. For Charlie Kirk to go on his show today and say, there is no forced starvation, here comes a rabbi to tell us why, without a shadow of a doubt, he is being paid by them. That is why he is doing damage control on their behalf, because he is on their payroll. And someone who is on the payroll of a foreign state making excuses for war crimes is not somebody that you can trust on anything. That's not somebody that you can take the good with the bad.
So now they have a problem with the whole Republican establishment. Now, if you look at Charlie Kirk, he was the kind of guy that, obviously he had a lot of white supremacist talking points and things like that, but he was corporate enough to go and build on the behalf of the regime, right? So you could put him at Utah Valley State. You could send him around at Turning Point USA. You can get him to be a person that could eventually fundraise for Republican Party and Donald Trump. And that's what he was becoming. He was collecting donations, emails, selling merchandise on the behalf of Donald Trump. Like he was the engine that was funding, the Republican National Convention. And so somebody like Nick Fuentes, who had been cut off from that light because of the things that he was saying are so extreme, basically what he's saying now is we don't get anything from the Republicans, all right? So this is it. So now people are tying all of these issues he had with Charlie Kirk, calling him a fake Christian, to this person, Tyler Robinson, being the reason that he passed away. And then let's look at the screenshots. Nick Fuentes has repeatedly attacked Charlie Kirk, calling him a neocon, globalist, and fascist. MAGA needs to accept there's a decent likelihood the shooter was influenced by that, or Loomer's attacks, and not some made-up pro-trans ideology they've concocted. And I'll get into that in a minute, okay? Also, more evidence the Groypers, followers of Nick Fuentes, used Bella Ciao, an in-group meme, prior to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Nick Fuentes, the leader of the far-right group, the Groypers, who declared a Groyper war on Charlie Kirk and has been stalking him for 5 years. Now, Laura here, right? There was an evidence. The FBI said that this guy, Tyler Robinson, who killed Charlie Kirk, is actually gay. So now this is a different story. At first, they said that Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk because he was too moderate. But now the FBI is saying that Tyler Robinson actually was in a relationship with a young man by the name of Lance Twiggs that was becoming a transgender woman. Laura says this. This is the Instagram account that belongs to Lance Twiggs, the transgender boyfriend of Tyler Robinson, the man who murdered Charlie Kirk. His bio says friendly neighborhood licensed fish finder. In the trans community, especially amongst trans women, fish is a slang term that refers to trans women and drag queens who pass as well as women. All right. So now this is a new theory. So now they're saying that Lance Twiggs, which is a complete person on the left, like much different than Tyler Robinson, is now the reason why this person is killed.
Breaking news, Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's assassin, lived with his transgender partner, sources are saying. Aaron Parnas and others like him, I want to know where you're at. It's always breaking news until it doesn't fit your narrative. I mean, you were quick to come on here yesterday and report that Tyler Robinson came from a Republican household, but now when it comes to talking about where his beliefs align present date and time, radio silence.
Now, radio silence is bringing up a point. Listen, you guys are saying that, he was on the right and all of this, but now he could have changed his position and killed Charlie Kirk based on something else. And now you conservatives are quiet now, right? And I just think that all of this is really interesting. But at the end of the day, what it shows is that guys like Nick Fuentes, they have some level of authority to incite violence, all right? And so Nick Fuentes is way more radical than Charlie Kirk. And the more famous that he gets, I mean, he already had an assassination attempt or somebody tried to come to his house and kill him. He's probably going to have a lot of security risk for the rest of his life. These guys are extremely hated. not only by the left, but moderates, right? Charlie Kirk was hated by the guys on the right and moderates, and now Nick Fuentes is a guy who's hated by the left and now moderates. So between the right, you have the extreme right, and the moderates who are blaming him now for the death of Charlie Kirk. But at the same time, Nick Fuentes and his fan base want to take the fan base in the void that's left by Charlie Kirk, because it means millions of dollars. It also means a lot of success. If Nick Fuentes is now elevated in the face of Charlie Kirk, that can mean a big disaster for America. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshay Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.